So that's a big cliff, and trust me, it is even scarier in person than it looks on camera. And unfortunately, somebody decided to launch a lawnmower off of it, and some more people decided to throw some tires down there, some other trash. So we want to get that cleaned up so this doesn't turn into even more of a dumping ground, because stuff like that just invites people to do more and more. But I can't do that alone, so today we have some help. You're way too close to that.
I know, it's I have to admit, I feel like as I've gotten a little older, heights is starting to bother me a little bit more, because I used to be able to walk right up to something like this and not be worried about it at all. But I am very
I'm worried for you.
Very concerned about the situation, so that's pretty far.
So we are here with Jason from the Primal Outdoors channel. He does a bunch of van life, bushcraft, overlanding type stuff, and he's, like me, a huge proponent of cleaning up public lands. So when we see a mess on public lands that we both enjoy, right basically in our backyard,
right,
we want to clean it up. So Jason's helping out with this one, and then we also got David here. David is going to help with a lot of running the winch and some filming stuff. And David, his dad is actually my wife's boss. So comment down below and let me know, does that mean I got to be extra nice to David, or does that mean it's payback time?
That's a good question.
No, actually his dad's really cool, so I guess we'll be nice to him. Yeah, that's a long way. We measured out, it's 122 feet down to the actual mower from the edge here. And problem is, we don't want to run a line over the edge of this rock and be dragging a line across this rock, even if we use a steel cable, because then you're chewing into the rock, knocking stuff loose, which we don't want to do. We want to be able to lift straight up, but we don't want to put a vehicle on the edge of this, because this is not like solid rock. Like, for example, all of those rocks are there because they fell off of here. Like, that's how those got there. And if you look down the cliff, it's pretty fractured and not super confidence inspiring. So I wanted to come up with a way to be able to reach out over the cliff without putting a vehicle on the edge of the cliff. So yesterday I did a little what Jason was very generous in calling fabrication, and I built a little contraption. So let's go check that out. This is my lawnmower lifting contraption. It's basically a gin pole setup I built on the back of my tilt bed trailer. The tilt bed has a ton of overhang off the back of it. So by my calculations, if the edge of the cliff is right here, and we back the tires up that far, to the end of the sheave head up there, we have 13 feet of overhang beyond the edge of the cliff, and the tires of my truck are 21 feet away from the edge of the cliff. So that keeps my heavy truck far away from the cliff, the lightweight trailer out by the edge, and we have a ton of overhang so we can lift it instead of dragging it. We're not going to knock any rocks loose, tear up the edge, nothing like that. So how this is made is it's just some square tubing. Normally on a gin pole setup it'd be hinged at the bottom, but we have no need for that since this is temporary. It goes up to a pulley head up there, and that's going to be our line that runs down. We've got two chains to hold it back to the trailer, and then the reason we have a snatch block down here and we're not just pulling straight off the winch at the top is with a gin pole setup, and it's not as critical since this is welded and not hinged, but the angle from that winch line to this winch line are very important, and the poles will always try to go to the bigger angle. So if that line was coming all the way up from there, that's a big angle. This line going straight down is not going to be that big. The force on these poles would actually be trying to flip over backwards instead of hanging down like you would think. So by bringing the line down to the bottom of the poles and then up, even if this line here swings back towards the poles, it would have to get almost all the way to the poles before they're going to want to flip over that way. And that keeps it hanging down and hanging on these chains like we want, and then not putting stress on that weld trying to flip it over.
To the geometry
behind the scenes
of
Primal Outdoors.
Now, I'm not going to get into it. If you guys want to know all that geometry,
we're dueling YouTubers right now.
Go to his channel and watch his video on this.
Hey, how come for once you're using a GoPro and I'm using a real camera? This is like parallel universe stuff.
I know. Well, I'm trying to be like you. Trying to do the whole vlog thing.
We're vlogging. Jason puts out some incredibly high quality videos that I have no idea how to do. If you want to see like actually well done stuff, go look at his channel. If you want to see like, hey, I filmed something and put it on the internet, then you can go look at mine. All right, so we're gonna get started. I think the plan is Jason is gonna hike to the bottom, and we scouted out with the drone. If you walk about 1,500 feet along the cliff, there's a place you can actually walk down where there's no cliff. There's like a break in the cliff, and then just walk back. So no one's got to go over a cliff, which is nice. And then I am gonna unhook the trailer and spin my truck around and hook it to my front hitch so that I can like see what I'm doing when I'm backing up to the edge of a cliff. Would be handy. And then I also have all the plugs on the front of my truck to plug the winch straight in. And let's see if we can get this thing out of here. So let's get going.
All right, guys, so I'm gonna start hiking over to the spot that I can get down off this cliff and safely down to the mower. Now, I've got quite a ways to hike. I don't know if you guys can see it, but you can see all the way out that point. I can hike down and then hike back down over. All right, so I think I found a spot where I can get down. It's much shorter down to the thing. It's still a little bit of a walk to get to where I was gonna go down, but I think this is good enough. I think I can scale this to get down. All right, so this is working out. I think I'll have no problem. Just a little bit of brush to deal with, but I should be able to get down right through there. Gotta watch these little holes and stuff for rattlesnakes. This is a serious rattlesnake here. Serious rattlesnake infested area. Okay, just like that, we're down. And we're gonna rip over to where the lawnmower's at. All right, so I'm almost to the lawnmower. I'm just traversing over these rocks, trying to not slip. All right, guys, we made it to the lawnmower. It's in pretty tough shape. Looks like to me like the frame might be broken, which might make our pull a little bit harder. I can see Casey has the trailer in position. So let's get started. All right, Casey, I'm down here and I'm in position.
Okay, I'll send the rope down and I'll try to toss it off to that north direction away from you a little bit.
Sounds good.
What we're gonna do is pull as much line off of this drum as we can. I spliced ropes together. You can actually see right here. This is new rope. This is old rope, and you can see where I've spliced it right here and weaved it together to make it long enough to get down there. So I'm gonna pull all the line I can off the drum, and Jason's gonna hook up the rope as short as he can down there, and then hopefully I can get it all the way up to the pulley in one lift. Would be super ideal.
All right, so he's gonna let out some more winch line here, which will be handy because I don't want to have to drag this lawnmower any further than I have to. So Yep, there we go. Okay, so here's one sketchy thing that I figured out is that the motor is not well attached anymore. So I'm definitely feel confident about getting the rope around the frame. I'm not feeling confident that that this head or motor may not come off during the ascend. So I'll have to kind of mess around with it, see if I can't get it tied in somehow. But if it does, I guess we'll just have to send it up on its separate, but hopefully it doesn't fall from too far.
Alright, so we're going to get the winch hooked up to the truck. This truck has a quick connect on the front of it so that I can either run jumper cables off of it or a second winch like this. I have the Apex winch here. The Apex winch has a lot faster line speed than the ZXR winches. They're both 12,000 pound winches. This one's just a lot faster. But I realized I don't have any of the Apexes currently on a receiver mount to use on my trailer, so we're just going to use the ZXR. It's a little slower winch, but still get the job done just fine.
I looped around the motor area and around the pulley down below on both sides of the pulley, so that way I wouldn't, so hopefully it would keep the motor in place. Now all this rope looped around is this extra slack. We wanted to tie the rope as short as possible in order to make sure that he didn't run out of winch up there, you know, that his spool didn't spool up and we didn't get it all the way up in one pull. So we ended up with a bunch of extra rope. So anyways, it's all tied. I'm gonna give him the go. All right, Casey, I think we're tied. Hopefully it stays together. It's in a few pieces, so we can see if we can get this thing out of here.
All right, coming in. All right, we got David running the winch, running through our lower pulley, out off the edge, and
Okay, so far it's going well-ish. It's almost to the cliff as it is right now. All right, guys, so as you see, it's starting to go up. I'm happy to see that the lawnmower twisted wheels to the cliff. So hopefully that will help it get all the way up. And if it does drag at all, the wheels will be where they're touching the cliff.
keep going. A little farther, a little farther. Right there, stop. Look at that. See all this oil and stuff right here hanging off it? That's what we don't want down over the edge, right above the river like that. This is why, well, one of the reasons why you shouldn't do things like this. We'll trash the areas we want to enjoy, and then you don't get to enjoy them anymore. Alright, we're free. So, we are going to get all this spooled back up on the trailer, back it back up to the edge, and toss it over again to get the rest of the junk down there. Okay, so now that the lawnmower is up, Casey's about ready to drop the rope back down to me. I've just been gathering up some more garbage, got more pieces of the lawnmower, some tires. There's just a bunch of littered cans that I've been picking up as I've been working down here and waiting between pull-ups. So yeah, we'll just keep bringing stuff up. Yeah, you can send it down. I'm just gathering some garbage down here.
Okay, is this like straight above you or you off to the side? It's very hard to tell from up here.
I am still off to the side. Can we do that whole pull with the engine off?
Yeah.
I normally wouldn't have done that if I was thinking about it, but just goes to show how little power these winches actually use. What's that? Ah! Coming down. Okay, that's super terrifying. So, what happened was I didn't throw the rope far enough, and there's like a little rock jut out down there, and it hooked it. So the end didn't fall down to where he was, so I pulled the slack up some until it came free, and then let it go. And when it fell down and got to the end and pulled up that snatch block, it scared me a lot. This will never not be terrifying. So he just threw the rope down. It's right here. I'm gonna go ahead and grab it, and we'll get started getting some of this stuff out of here. Alright guys, well, we've got everything up that we're going to be able to get up on this trip. There's definitely some more stuff that could go up, but I only had one big Glad bag, so there's some more garbage down here. We may have to come back another time and do another cleanup. I'm sure there will always be more stuff down here, unfortunately. But anyhow, I'm going to get ripping up, try to get back up on top and hook back up with Casey and the guys. This video is just going to be like 20 minutes of me untying knots. I'm betting something lives in there. Probably don't want to tangle with whatever lives in there. But this whole cliffside along here has been tons of predator scat, so yeah, we'll just keep walking. That's hard. Yeah, I thought I found a really easy spot to climb out. I saw that. No, that was not as easy as I thought. Spot. I thought I found another one down further. I'm like, oh, that'll be easy. That one was not easy. When you're doing good deeds, you need a little adventure. Oh, this was adventure. Speaking of good deeds, if you want a less adventurous adventure, you should join me and Casey when we go to the PLS Bend cleanup on Monday, July 10th, I think. 10th or 11th. 10th or 11th. We'll put it somewhere in the description and on the screen. So, we're both very about cleaning up public lands, clearly. Because that stuff right there, people see that down there and then they just think, oh, here's a spot to throw some trash. And that mower down there will attract more and more and more. And it'll end up being a dumping site. That's what happens with the cars we see abandoned in the woods and all that. So you can clean them up before they turn into a big dumping site. It's so much easier and faster to clean up. So that was a big thing, getting this out of here. This is now much less likely to turn into just a dumping site. So we're both all about cleaning up public lands. PLS Bend, the Public Land Stewards of Bend, their big cleanup is coming up. I think it's July 10th. I think you're correct. It'll be on the screen right here because we can't remember right now. Right. But if you go to plsbend.org, they have all the info on it. It is a Monday, but it's going to be a huge cleanup, and we're going to need all the help we can get on this one because this one's going to be big. So go to plsbend.org, sign up if you can. You still got some time to get a day off work if you need or something like that. It's going to be a big cleanup and going to do a lot of good. So go check it out. If I'd have practiced that, I'd have never said that in one shot. Yeah, if it was my camera, I'd have messed it all up. All right, well, Jason made it back up. Did a little cliff scaling. Made it. We got a lawnmower, some tires, metal pieces to it, and a whole bag full of trash cleaned up out of there. So that's a big difference. We're gonna load all that up in my truck, and then I'll take it all to the dump, get rid of it so it's not left out here where we all want to come out and enjoy. And I think that's gonna be it for this one. Big thank you to Jason. Go check out his channel. There'll be a link down below. He didn't have a channel, so just say thank you to David for filming. And we'll see you guys next time.